Hello? Is this thing on? Oh boy, I am peaking. Hello everybody. It's been too long. Welcome to the stream. It's officially 11:08 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time. And my friends, welcome to the Rantcast. I am the co-host, Josh, also known as The Strange Bus. That's twitch.tv/TheStrangeBus. And I'm going to introduce the new host for the last 3-4 months to the Rantcast, and that is Kurgan, aka HeroQuest Fans. And as always, you can find him at twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans. That's twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans. Kurgan, you are on. Whenever you're ready.
Yes. Got him.
Got him.
And as you can see, I'm not on site with you there. I'm that guy way in the back. Man,
Oh.
I wasn't sure when this was going to happen, that we were both going to be back on the Rant bus. The Strange Cast. The TheRantCastPodcast.
Well, it's good to be back.
The deal with getting Ric Flair to do the intro fell through, so we're still working on that one.
We're still talking to him. Slow going, though. Slow going.
Yeah. Get us on the phone.
Anyway.
Yeah. This is great. We got the old graphics. We got the old team together.
Well,
how have you been doing? How you holding up?
I'm okay. A little bit of ups, a little bit of downs, but I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging on to the good things, which I'm spending time with my kids, trying to take better care of myself, which has been a big kind of a thing been recommended by my family and my doctor. But
yeah,
got my old channel back, which is good.
Yeah.
I thought I was building that from scratch, but besides that, yeah, I'm just really glad to be back so quick, because I didn't think I was coming back for like months. And on top of that, I thought I'd have to handle a lot more like difficulty. January I fought a bout of, it was kind of a rough bump with my medical condition, and then I ran into some identity theft, so that was fun.
Dang, I hate that.
And then caught that just in time, so that's why I kind of deleted everything. And then yeah, like I said, next month, closer to my birthday, I got my channel back, which I got an email from Twitch. It was like, hey, your channel's gonna get deleted soon. I was like, I thought I already deleted it. So I got that back and just slowly building things back up. I don't know if I'm coming back to YouTube, but for anybody that is new or relatively does not know, it's, like I said before, right here. I just play video games, so but yeah, we are doing.
Every time you try to get out, they keep pulling you back in.
They keep pulling me back in. We are doing HeroQuest at the start. We're still doing that power hour, right?
Oh yeah, I could probably power through 2 hours, but we'll go easy.
Let me see if I can, because this is all gonna be on the fly, guys. I had to pull some of the old presets from my Streamlabs, so that's why you're looking at this and not.
I want to let you in
presets.
on a little secret. So a lot of times when we do these, we're just not filled with enough rage to just spew forth fire. And so like we deliberately have all these like complicated technical issues that just like piss me off, make me angry. And just start like yelling about Ubisoft and EA and Hasbro, and it's like they were just in my way.
Yeah.
I'm a method actor. What do you want? Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I mean, there's a lot to be thankful for, but yeah, there's just a lot of weird stuff that happens in the entertainment and gaming world, and you know how it is. I mean, there's good things too, and that's kind of what I wanted to get started with. But go ahead first. You were going to say something.
I'm just gonna lay it down for our viewers here today, kind of like I used to. Episode 5, do his Rant Quest. So we'll kind of lay it out as the HeroQuest Power Hour. That's gonna be with Kurgan. I'll see what I can do to kind of lay down some HeroQuest stuff in the editor, so it's not just showing my face the whole time. And then we'll go ahead and talk about a couple other topics. I've got some things to be brought up as far as video game news.
Yeah, been missing some of that.
Yeah, I had a list somewhere around here because
Yeah, there's good, there's evil. You can even go beyond it. Yeah.
We've got topics including The Mandalorian Season 3, which was released a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, and how I'm going to be treating that. Upcoming games, we've got Resident Evil 4 coming up this month, and the new and announced, for anybody who cares, Budokai Tenkaichi 4, which has caused kind of a stir amongst the fighting game world. Also, if we have time tonight, I will be once again going through my HeroQuest box that I received from you for the first time, actually breaking it down.
It's gonna break it down.
Break it down.
Stop it. It's not a tumor.
And then another topic that I have is still in the video game industry here, because I like to pull all of that dirty nonsense, and that is Ubisoft being investigated. There's a labor investigation on a game that has yet to be released. I mean, I don't even know if some kids even know what this game is. Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is still being in development after almost 10 plus years since it was first announced. So, and that was back on GameCube days. So we'll go ahead and get into that. Yeah, we'll go get into that. I'll get things set up. Let me go ahead and real quick before we get started here, we'll
welcome Ribby, welcome Joe.
Yes, welcome everybody.
Yeah, and all the fans watching us on the YouTube replay.
Indeed. Oh, I'm so glad you have patience for YouTube. I tried to re-upload stuff on YouTube the other day, and it's just a hassle.
I've had problems with YouTube. I've had problems with Twitch. So, both Isengard and Mordor throwing orcs at us, like going out of style.
All right, so let's go ahead and I'll pull up some. I'll pull up some HeroQuest. Non-copyright, of course. First thing that popped up for me was Amalgamash, which.
Yeah, Amalgamash has been he's been putting out a lot of videos. I gotta say it. He's been putting out a lot of videos, making me feel like I'm like not doing anything, like I'm standing still. This guy. So he had a contest. He had what he calls a game jam, where he was like getting people to make quests. He was like reviewing them. It's like sweet. Like he's got so many videos coming out, I don't even have time to watch them all. He got an interview with Jordan Sorcery. Check him out on YouTube.
Wow, big time.
Yeah, and I mean Jordan Sorcery is one of these guys that like he kind of came out of nowhere, and he was cranking out videos like crazy. And Always Bored, Never Boring's out there. Sir Deathvids is out there. There's just lots of people are doing lots of stuff. So I feel like when I take a day off, it's like I just get stampeded by all these videos. It's like it's cool to see.
First thing that pops up in the mainstream right now is why HeroQuest is so terrible.
Yeah, that was a funny one. Because a lot of people have done takes on Bardic broadcasts, why HeroQuest is so great, meme video. But his was pretty funny. I mean, it looks like he actually put some thought into it, so kudos to him. The brave adventurer that he is.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's been a proliferation. Because a lot of these people have been keeping the flame going. And
A
a lot of
lot
these
more
guys have
than
just done like one-off videos, but yeah, it's just exploded
it's a
lately.
lot more than what we used to look up. Like
Yeah.
I've yet to see a Hasbro tag in here yet at all.
Yeah.
And that's what I was looking for like just like
Yeah.
a backdrop.
Avalon Hill, Hasbro, yeah.
Oh,
Well, and to be fair, you've got your unboxings, you've got your rant videos, you've got your gameplay videos. Those ones are harder to find. And I guess I was kind of priding myself thinking like, oh yeah, we're the only ones that are doing like live games, but we're not. There are other people that do them. Maybe not as often that they record them, and everybody's got a different style. But I like to watch the other gameplay videos to see like how they do it and see if there's like techniques that they use that might be good for us. And I just want to tell everybody I'm open to feedback. Like I know that yeah, some people will never be happy. It's just like, oh, you don't play the way I play. But I am open to like trying new things, new ways of like displaying the game, keeping track of stats on screen, getting people involved. Because I know that when we've been doing HeroQuest fans, like a lot of the people that are involved are having a good time, but it's like, are the people that are watching having a good time necessarily, or are they kind of lost? Like what if you come in the middle? So yeah, I like to see how other people do it, and you know, we take feedback on the Discord as well. I know there's some people that say, oh, we should just go all digital, and we've tried digital episodes. We've done stuff with a companion app, and that's fun, but that's usually just the days when I'm like too lazy to set up. You know, I think you're muted there.
I still think that you should go full on
Tabletop simulator.
tabletop, yeah. And
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I mean, I know you made a thing on it, but like
It's got some strengths. It's got some strengths. It does. I don't know. I still think it's just a little bit clunky for what, not much clunky, but clunky for what I do. I know there's some people that are just fast with it, and I suppose I should just find some of those people and let them be Zargon that time.
I don't know. I mean, we did one episode I think in tabletop where I think I hosted, and it was rough at first. I think it took us 2 hours to prep because I was very unfamiliar with how it was done.
Well, and I was too. I mean, it takes about that long to just get comfortable with it.
But
yeah, it was funny because I'm like
rolling,
looking for the dice, and I see your cursor coming over to like grab the dice. Like, okay, I got it. Like, hey,
well, I mean, like that's the fun thing is like because it's got like it can help keep pacing going, right? And like I feel like it's kind of one of those things where like you do something that's unique.
Hey,
I think that I've never seen before, like for streaming. Like that was something that I will always encourage you to do is to run live games. And that's why I'm glad that you got the board set, is because maybe we can do something like a collab with that, or,
yeah, because you've got it now too.
Yeah, and even though like some people might think like, why would you do that? You could always do it through TTS, or there's always digital versions of it. Yeah, that's fine, but everybody does that.
Yeah.
Right.
Or everybody sits around a table like, yeah, we could just gather some people together and just record it. It's like, okay, that's cool. That's like ideal. But I mean, how many times do you get to just play somebody like out there in the internet community? I mean, assuming you can get your schedules together. Like and when Amalgamash and I played, we had to play on an off day because he has a totally different work schedule than I do.
Right.
So because we have jobs besides this.
An excellent job at running the like running new stuff into the game. Like you do the what's it called? The heroic feats.
The uncommon feats, yeah.
The uncommon feats, you allow people to add monsters to Zargon's, pool. You allow people to help the heroes, stuff like that. Stuff that I don't think you could fully incorporate into maybe the digital version. I don't know about TTS, but
well, you could. You would just have to. I mean, yeah, you definitely could, but I guess if you're playing the game like at the table with your family, it would be weird. Like it wouldn't make much sense. because you don't have like lurkers that are there. But it's like a way to get other people involved. It's like, oh shoot, I don't have time to like actually sit down and play the quest, but I have time to throw some potions at you and throw a couple monsters at you too. Like we
I know
have
I've
people
done
that
that.
do that, that do both. It's like, hey, you lurk, you save up those gold coins, and then you just kind of mess around. And I guess it's kind of a hybrid thing because, like, if you'll notice, I've been a Twitch member for what, a year, and it's like I don't really play video games on there, but I do play board games, and it's like you've got all this interactive stuff, like oh, you can, pick up loot and do all this other stuff. Well, it's like, well, how would you do that in a board game? Well, there you go. That's one way to do it.
Right.
As opposed to like, I'm a jukebox, like, oh, you hit this button and I got to drink water and put a hat on and like, bend over. It's like, nope, that's not going to happen. But we are going to do stuff in the game.
Look, the most I did was I allowed people to read, or I read the Star Wars chronology. Which, by the way, I think I'm.
Got to
I
do it
think
in Yoda voice.
we're getting that back.
Man, I wish the dice looked like that. So Chris Nato is like, nah, he likes the sharp cornered dice, so we didn't get those. I do want to say a couple things about. Sorry, you were gonna say?
I was just going to respond to Joe here. I've been so immersed in fixing the presets and trying to get everything situated on stream. Thank you, by the way, about that. Yeah, I was glad I was able to catch it too. And it's okay. I don't mind, but yes, yes.
It's kind of strange. Yes.
But no, go ahead. Like I said, whatever you're getting into topic 2 today about the power hour, go ahead.
Topics. So I wanted to talk about, and I feel like this is really like a Shadzar thing. Like he and I were there at the start of the HeroQuest fans Discord.
The legend.
Yeah, I want to start out with that weird time where all of a sudden it was like HeroQuest was coming back. And it was different than so many other experiences like back in the day. Like think back like 20 years when your favorite franchise came out with a new thing or was coming back and it was like, "Oh, yes. This is going to be awesome." Instead, it was like, "Oh man, they're going to screw this up, aren't they? How bad is it going to be?" Like, how disappointed am I going to be? Like, and he was very negative and I was a little bit more positive, but not as positive as some people. Like there's some people who were just freaking out. We were just like, okay, what's going to be wrong with this? And we were watching videos like you're seeing here and thinking, okay, the dwarf looks all like cartoonish. He's got like a big baby head and like the elf is female. So it's like, okay, so are they like going to like swap everybody? Is it going to be weird like that? Are they going to tinker with it too much? Games Workshop's nowhere to be found, so the designs are all different. I mean, look, the Chaos Warrior. Why has he got a big shield now? He'd never had that before. Why is the mummy doing the walk like Egyptian pose? That looks stupid. Look at those goblins. They look all goofy, and that generic demon that's the gargoyle, and everything's gray. That's like really boring. So there's all this stuff we were thinking to ourselves, and it's like they were very tight-lipped about it. And it was like, okay, this is a HasLab campaign. You got to pledge, and it was like, okay, how's this gonna work? Like, I didn't know what was happening, but a lot of people were saying this is going to be a one-off. HeroQuest is not really back. This is just a way to suck up a bunch of money, vacuum up a bunch of money for nostalgia, and then it's going to just go away. But as time went on, we learned more. They finally started to talk to us a little bit. And it was like, okay, they're going to use the original colors. So the orcs and the goblins are going to be green, and the undeads are going to be yellowish white, and the Chaos Warriors, which are called Dread Warriors now, are going to be gray. And it's like, okay, a lot of the designs are based on the originals. And actually, when we got the plastic figures, they weren't quite as exaggerated and weird looking like you see in these pre-renders. So a lot of things were pretty decent. And it was like, okay, they're using bendy plastic. Okay, what's that going to mean? That's like Reaper bones. It's like really durable. It's like really good. And the dice are plastic because I remember those wooden dice. Like they were cool, but like the paint would come off because your sweaty little kid hands. So there's all these like little improvements. Everything's like bigger. The state of HeroQuest today. So we've come from that state of like trepidation to now, and it seems like every new release they improve things a little bit. So the original box, the original stuff Like it's all there in the package that you've got, except they made it so it's actually easier to take them out of the box. They're not, you don't have to like use excessive force to just like rip it out of there, which a lot of people were saying this is stupid because it's like if you paint the stuff, it's like it's gonna rub off. So you're gonna have to throw those trays away and like repackage it. And some people were selling this really expensive like Feldar foam that you're supposed to pack in there, and then you couldn't even get the box closed. And it's like, oh, it's so dumb. Why are people doing that? You know, spending like $50 on foam to, it's like, couldn't they just like pack it good to begin with? And then people were getting like those broken figures, and it's like, okay, they fixed all that, they ironed that all out. I mean, I didn't see any broken figures in yours, but I guess we can check.
Yeah, we can
But
always check. I didn't see anyone when I pulled out the first time, but
the cards are good. So they've got like linen finish on them now, and they're poker size. They're nice and big. They've got lots of, you know, they use good paper for the character sheets. Some of the dice that I got, like my set was fine, nothing was broken, but the dice, it kind of looked like some of the design like wasn't stamped on there, centered, and it wasn't like the paint was like kind of dripped off on the side, like it just was dashed off. The quality control wasn't really great. But I've seen pictures of the newer sets, the newer retail releases, and it looks just like much better, not quite so slapdash. So that's a good thing. And yeah, it was more expensive. So they went from $99.99 for the game system in the heroic tier, the pledge version, and you got 5 extra heroes. And so then it was like $125.99, and then they went up to $135.99, and then dropped down to 100, and actually it went right below 100. And I was like, sorry, you're not supposed to tell people how much their gift costs, but anyway, I was just like, can't pass this up. Keller's Keep, Return of the Witch Lord. Um, the retail version is actually better than the pledge version. Like the tile sheet was just one-sided originally, and it just had like just white paper on the back. But they actually like put the linen finish on both sides, and it's black, so it's nice and smooth and good. And yeah,
for what we paid for this version, the fit and finish is pretty poor on a lot of the minis, and not just from those absolutely horrible death grip trays.
well, so and Joe, do you want to clarify? Are you talking about the pledge version or the retail version? Because I'm not saying it's perfect, but from the pictures I've seen, it seems that the retail version is better quality. I think one thing, and Shadzar pointed this out because he was started to prime his figures, and it was just like there's no detail, like what's happening. Like the faces were like melty looking, so I don't know if they just like pulled them out of the molds too fast
They
or
might
what.
like it could have been that like they weren't expecting such a high demand, and
It's like
people
work
probably wanted.
faster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wizard
Well,
has no face.
I want to take his face off.
Just to I'm not saying that like I like my situation's worse, but I don't know if you ever saw. I have a video still up on my channel somewhere. It's in my highlights. I think it's in my one offs or something like that. Of me showing off my Star Wars. I have
Oh
a
yeah.
Star Wars minifigures, and they the horriblest of quality. Now, granted, even when they were new, they were probably still kind of like garbage, and those were uh, like a big box deal. Like those were supposed to
See,
be good stuff, and now that they've aged, you could tell the cheap paint has molded some of them.
oh, you could
Um,
clean those up.
and like a lot of the detail on the figures was bad. Like when I was a kid, I didn't care as much because
Oh
I was
yeah.
really excited to play that game, and it was like the I can't remember what it was called. I thought it was the Star Wars minis game or something like that. But um, yeah, it was a it was a mess. Some of the paint was just nasty. Like,
Oh
and
yeah.
they just splotched it on the
See,
characters and
see, when I was a kid, like we would get those like dinosaur toys from like the um we didn't have dollar stores yet, but it was just like at the grocery store. They have like cheap toys to like keep the kids quiet, and it's like Yeah, they take the white paint, splat for the eyes, red for the mouth, splat, and then they just take like an airbrush and just one pass over the back of the dinosaur and done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's what I was used to. It's like, oh, that's normal. And then you see like people with like the heavy metal and everything, and it's like, oh man, it looks so great. They get 3 lines of paint like on each like crease in the armor and stuff. And it's like, dang, it takes forever.
Dude, I
But
remember even when I was a kid, like even going to the dollar store and having like those army figurines they'd have, the army or cop
yeah,
figurines that were like really badly painted.
yeah,
And now
there's
they do
lots of
even worse
people.
than that sometimes. Like they have like that
Yeah.
really horrible chemical paint now, like for cheap
Oh,
figures.
there's people out there. So Black Magic Craft, I think is the name of it, is one of these streams on YouTube where the guy he deliberately buys like the cheapest crap that you could find from these stores, like for pennies or whatever. And then he'll just like take really expensive paints and like turn it into a masterpiece. And it's like,
Wow.
and people like Jacer, like he'll just take toys from like anywhere, thrift stores, whatever, and he'll just like put them together. It's like, okay, well now I've got my HeroQuest army. It's like, why not? You know, you don't have to buy the big expensive metal, figurines. And
Yeah,
actually,
Jacer's pretty cool.
since I'm just learning a lot of this stuff, I'd kind of feel bad if I had like some $50 mini that I was trying to like make it look like a 3-dimensional painting. I'd be just like too afraid to do that. So yeah, just get the cheap stuff and practice. But yeah, HeroQuest. So I think they learned their lesson with the pledge drive. After that, they're just like, it's coming to retail. And I was thinking, great, this is what we wanted. Not only do we want a franchise that I can feel good supporting, because they're not changing it. They're hardly changing it at all. I mean, there was all the talk about Game Zone was going to have the 25th anniversary of HeroQuest, which we talked about on a previous Rantcast, where it was going to be a remake. Like the rules are changed. It's inspired by HeroQuest. It's like, no, this is the same dumb game from 30 years ago, just with a fresh coat of paint, so to speak. No paint, but I mean like a fresh aesthetic. Modern World of Warcraft looking stuff. And it's like, okay, I can get used to that. But it's back in the day, the point of HeroQuest is this was not for elite gamers. This was not like for, some cabal of hobbyists. It's like, no, this is the one that you go to the store, family game night, you bring it home, you give it to your kids. Everybody plays it. It's easy to learn, and it's going to be that way again. So I've seen HeroQuest in stores. Now I haven't seen it like at Target, but at least I can see it on a shelf, and it's like, there it is, and it's reasonably affordable. You know what you're getting. This is what we wanted.
Hero Zone. Wait, what? What was that? More info. Hero Zone. Did you
No, no,
say
no.
Hero Zone?
Game Zone.
Game
So
Zone.
so for a brief time, the HeroQuest copyright was up in the air. But there's a miniatures company called Game Zone, and I guess they're in legal trouble now. I don't know all the details, so I can't comment, but they were going to make a HeroQuest remake, and they did not have permission to do so, or they did for only a very brief time, like only in Spain or something. So Hasbro was like, whoa, 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 like, we're going to lose all this money. And so they
Cease
quickly
and desist. Cease and
they,
desist.
they quickly grabbed it, shut them down, or they were forced to change the name to SueQuest. Remember all that SueQuest? So
Yeah.
that was like a game loosely inspired by HeroQuest with the feel of HeroQuest. I mean, you can obviously tell what it is. There's lots of projects out there now that you can buy HeroQuest style games, or games that are, it's like, what's that game, like Boss Level? It's like obviously appealing to people's nostalgia for something else, for like Nintendo or whatever. But it's not the thing. It's not the officially licensed product. So HeroQuest is that. And they did the Guardian Knights. So they did an original creation, a brand new hero with some cards, really small box, $15. And then that sold out in a day, and everybody was pissed. And they're like, sorry. So they did an apology letter. And it's like, okay, from now on, everything's going to be retail, not limited edition, not exclusive. Because going back to the pledge drive, there was all this exclusive material. And a lot of people in a lot of countries, as many people have covered this, Amalgamash has covered this, Always Bored, Never Boring. He's covered this. Everybody's covered this already. So this is not new. But the point is, like, wouldn't it be great if all the people that got to play HeroQuest back in the day, 89, 90, 91, from Europe, Japan, North America, everybody got to get in on it again and play it with their kids and their grandkids and, just have a great time. So I think we're getting closer and closer to that. And they've been releasing the expansions that we had back in the day. So Keller's Keep, Return of the Witch Lord, which gave you more of the classic monsters and new adventures, higher difficulty, because people are like, oh, the game's so easy when you work together. Well, yeah, it is, but it gets harder, much harder. And then they had the Frozen Horror and the Mage of the Mirror, the Elf and the Barbarian quest packs, which people in Europe never had, probably never even knew about unless you were, on the internet for those 20 years in between. And so it's like, okay, cool, but what's next? So what they've been talking about, and they keep dropping hints on us because it's like we don't know what they're going to do as a company. And they're like, no, this is not over. It's going to go on. They have plans at least through 2026. So they've got at least one pack done already, and there's another one being tested, and then there's another one being planned. So it's like they're kind of doing it in stages. So it looks like HeroQuest is here for the duration. Because I was thinking, like, okay, if the next one bombs, they're just going to be dropped like a hot potato. Hasbro's got bigger fish to fry. I mean, they've got D&D, Magic the Gathering, Star Wars, Marvel, Power Rangers, Transformers, all that crap. It's
I
like
thought they would have dropped it, or at least slowed down with it, since with the that whole crap
Guardian
with
Knight.
when they were trying to revise the whole script.
Oh, HeroScape.
Oh yeah, never mind. That's HeroScape. See how out of touch I am.
they invested so much time and effort into HeroScape, and it just totally failed, and that was so sad. But anyway, maybe they'll learn their lesson and it'll come back. I mean, Chris Nato is talking about it again, and Carmine, for people who don't know. And so that was a big change for the community. Like, finally, they sent a guy out to actually talk to us, not just Twitter making, dad jokes, and it's like, oh, Zargon, ha ha ha, darn goblins always pissing me off. It's like, no. He'd actually go into the Discord, and then they opened their own Avalon Hill Discord, and they'll still jump in there and tell us stuff like, hey, did you guys see, this little thing? It's like, what? So they've dropped little hints about what's happening. So the European packs, I'm pretty much convinced, are coming because they've dropped hint after hint. So the people in Europe got the exclusive North American stuff. Now the North Americans are going to get the exclusive European stuff. So the Ogre Horde against the Ogre Horde is coming. Wizards of Morcar is coming. Now we don't know in what form because those packs were a little different. Like Morcar had his name changed to Zargon, the bad guy. So it's like, okay, there's going to be some adjustments, but like fans have already done that stuff. Like if you go online, HeroQuest by Phoenix.eolden.com, like he already converted all those quests from like the European format to the North American format. So it's already there. It's like if a fan could do it in his spare time, I'm sure Hasbro can, through Avalon Hill, can do it. I don't know how many people they have on the team, but I'm sure they can do it. They're competent. And they have all the draft notes that like Luca Paci has, maybe even more than he has actually, for the Wizard Quest pack and the Dwarf Quest pack, which were unreleased, that were never finished back in '92. So those will be coming out sometime. And what about the other official stuff, like the Dark Company from Advanced Quest? The super hard. You don't need 4 boards, but it's like you'll be wandering around through one board and you'll go out the side door and then you'll clear the board, you set it up again, and it's like a new adventure. Like all that stuff is going to be coming out. And they're doing Rise of the Dread Moon, which is a brand new adventure. And this is the first time they're doing like a complete box where it's completely new. And it's like, great. It's like, but I know they can do it because with the Mythic box, we had Prophecy of Telor, we had Spirit Queen's Torment, and we had Crypt of Perpetual Darkness. So like 34 new quests, pretty much. Joe Kozier says, I feel like they will eventually drop the 2 EU expansions. We'll be dropping in the next round. Hopefully we'll get the unreleased Wizard and Dwarf packs. I know we will. It's just a matter of time is the thing. Now, it's always possible. What if the sales just start, plummeting? People don't care about HeroQuest anymore, except for the hardcores like us, and it's not enough, and so they just cancel it. Like that would suck. But as long as that doesn't happen, it's like, okay, I'm sure this stuff will all come out eventually. And I notice right before there's a big release, they always try to throw us off the scent. They'll say, oh yeah, dwarves sure are cool. And so we're like, oh yeah, the dwarf quest pack is next. And it's like, nah, just kidding, it's the elf pack. So it's kind of like whatever they're saying, it's probably like a little bit of a swerve.
I think as
But
long as the cost is relative to how many people
yeah,
are enjoying it, which right now they went
profit
the
margin.
last
Or product margin.
almost 3
Product
years
margin.
selling HeroQuest merchandise, and they've made it this far. I think
they know what they're doing.
They do, if they're doing expansions, they should be okay. Not like they're trying to reinvent the wheel, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, and there's such a different product. Like compare HeroScape to HeroQuest. HeroScape was very much like in the mold of, the gotta catch 'em all, you gotta build up your, army kind of game where it was like buy, buy, buy. And yeah, some people were super hardcore into it, but it's like you had to feed that. You had to keep coming out with expansions. You had to keep coming out with booster packs and, rules and stuff. Whereas with HeroQuest, it's like a little bit different type of game. It's almost like, and I could see a company being nervous about it and saying, oh, we're sowing the seeds of our own destruction. Because when you buy that box, it's got everything you need. Like your imagination can create the rest. You don't have to buy expansions. But a lot of people are like, ah, man, some more miniatures sure would be nice to have a few more monsters. And oh man, I could paint a few extra things, And so of course they go out and buy it, and that keeps the whole thing going. But yeah, the latest is the Prophecy of Telor, which was one of these mythic exclusives, well, alleged exclusives, that Stephen Baker wrote. Stephen Baker, of course, was one of the OG guys from the original version of the game, the European version from '89. He was a guest writer, and he wrote those 13 quests. And I mean, I haven't played them yet, but reading through them, I was like, this feels like HeroQuest. This feels like classic HeroQuest. The lore is all like good. It's like awesome. Some of the other packs, but the other guest writers are a little more tongue in cheek, a little goofier. Like maybe like you could imagine a kid writing it back in the day. But
Joe asked if they were exclusive or just stretch goals.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you look at the archived version of the page, because they've changed it now, they've edited it. They took away the 4 million or the 3.7 million, and they changed it to backers. So it's kind of hard to figure out what it all means now. But if you look at the old version, archive.org, it shows the only exclusives, and other people have said this before. The only exclusives are the Sir Ragnar prisoner figure, which everybody who bought the pledge version got, and the 4 sex swapped heroes, so the male elf, female barbarian wizard, and dwarf. Like everybody got those. But then the mythic tier was, you got the game system, Keller's Keep, Return of the Witch Lord, all that stuff, plus you got the stretch goals. And they released all the stretch goals even though they didn't quite make it. So there were 3 quest books, and that was actually why I pledged Mythic, was the Prophecy of Telor. Now, it didn't actually say, yeah, these will never be available again. So people are like, oh, okay. Because, yeah, there's a question. Like, Amalgam Ash covered this in his videos, too, is like, there's a few people that are mad about this. They're just like, I got my exclusive, they said that this was exclusive. That's why I paid for it. And, it shouldn't be available to the general public. It's like, well, and then there's people out there. It's like, oh, well, I missed it. So I went online and I paid some scalper, $500 or $1,000 to get it. And now you're just going to sell it, and it's like, well, but that's not really the company. I mean, I guess it is the company's fault because they made it sound like it was exclusive. But think about it this way. At that time, they probably didn't know that it was going to be this successful. They probably thought it's just going to be a one-off. And I mean, they didn't even make their final goal. Yes, they made their production goal $1 million. They got $1 million, went into production. They made 3.7 million instead of 4 million, or 3.67 or whatever it was. Still pretty darn close. And Joe Manganiello got his Manganiello. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Manganiello. He does that clip with Pee Wee Herman where he pronounces his name like 20 times. Anyway, bless him, he got to do his dragon pack and everything. That was the only one that had any extras with it that had tiles, and he had a dragon miniature. But that was only 10 quests. But I think
Oh,
Prophecy is like the best one. 450 for mine off Facebook Marble. I'm sorry, man.
damn, dude.
Yeah. So, Joe, as far as we know, some of the stuff from the Mythic stuff that's not in the retail box is coming out. And if we're lucky, all of it will. Now, people say, no. The Sir Ragnar one won't be there because that they explicitly said that was exclusive in this form. So it's like, okay, well, what do we get? Maybe we'll get Sir Ragnar dressed as a prince or dressed as a knight or something. The other one was the Witch Lord figure. That explicitly said it was exclusive, so that was for the Mythic. And the Mentor figure, who I think of as Zargon, the guy with the big beard. Like, when we were kids, we thought that was Zargon, but now they're like, nah, it was Mentor the whole time. The whole time. So I guess Gandalf and Saruman like look like the same guy. I don't know. You never actually see what Zargon looks like. Well, you kind of do. Like, there's different versions of the lore. It's very confusing. But anyway, people in Europe knew all this stuff. People in America didn't necessarily know it. Because, like, some of the stuff had been tweaked by the time we got it. That's another thing. There was a lot of debate about dividing the community because people over in Europe were used to a certain rule set, like, there was a little bit extra lore that was inserted in there, a little bit more references to, like, Warhammer stuff. Because Games Workshop, Warhammer, it makes sense.
Right.
But since they weren't involved, it's like they've peeled away a lot of that stuff that people are used to, even more from the European version, and then the rules are changed. And it's kind of like, well, this sucks because all the people in the world that are used to playing the game their way for 30 years now have to change to our rule set. So you get the version wars. It's like, oh, is this 5th edition or 6th edition? But then I'm thinking, like, well, it's not that bad because, I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks. It kind of feels like a slap in the face to those people. But the game is so easy to mod, you can still play it the old way if you want to. You don't have to, it's like, oh man, I don't like the way the crossbow like fires. Like, I'm just gonna use the rules that I like, and it's like that's fine. I mean, I use hybrid rules too. I use stuff, and they did throw a bone to the European gamers. I mean, the whole equipment deck that wasn't in the version I grew up with. We had an armory board. It was like a menu where you picked all the stuff that you buy. But now we got a deck of cards, and I guess there's pros and cons either way. I like to, you look at the menu and you're like, yeah, I'll take the battle axe, and what's your soup of the day? Yeah, I'll take that. you know, whereas with the cards, you're like, sorting through it. Which one? What is it? Do you have another one of those? Wait, where's the where's the spear? I don't see the spear in here.
Well, it reminds me of, like, I think I mentioned this before. I played Star Wars D&D a lot, and it ran
Yeah,
off of 3.5, and
yeah, I played it a
um,
couple
they
times.
they upgraded it to what 5.0, and this was like forever ago. But um, I stuck with 3.5 for a long time, just because of how it felt and how I knew the rule set and everything like that. And um, I I I agree with you. It's a it's a at the end of the day, to me, it's a board game that you sit and you play with your friends. You know if there are adjustments to the rules that you don't particularly like, I feel that you don't necessarily have to abide by them.
Yeah,
Um, I mean,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, if you're inviting new players to your game, unless I guess you're like a retail store that's holding, I guess I don't think you'd hold tournaments for HeroQuest, but like unless
yeah.
you're a retail store
Kind
that's
of fun.
relying on a huge community, even then you could say, look, if you're used to a certain version, we can all do that. Like, it's not gonna hurt
Yeah,
somebody to have to adjust to it for a round and then play something different. I mean,
yeah.
um,
And
I
me personally. Oh, you go ahead. Sorry, I have to jump in.
I sorry, my sinuses are killing me today, but I
It's time to report.
I just feel like it's one of those things where uh, it's like you said, it's easily moddable. It's not like an actual, like the video games of today, where it'd be a hassle to change, or your
Make a
game
mod
doesn't have to come with an
program,
update or something like that. Yeah, you know,
day one
at the end,
patches,
yeah, at the end of
DLC.
the day, you could say, nope, it's all good. We'll just
Well,
stick with the old rule set.
when the countdown for HeroQuest was first announced, I thought it was a mobile game. Like that's what it looked like
Ooh.
because everything was like rendered. And you think about the one D&D crap that we just went through and all that stuff, and it's like, okay, this is going to be a way to like enforce a certain way of playing the game. This is really going to suck. Thank God that's not what happened. But they did give us a companion app, which is free still. Now in certain countries you got to use a VPN to get it. I happen to be able to use it through emulation because I don't have a smartphone. It still works, and it was very interesting because at first I thought this thing sucks because it's like incomplete. You still got to roll the dice for the monster or for the defense for the monsters. You still got to roll the dice for the heroes. You still got to draw the treasure cards. Half the spells you still got to go off the spell card. It's like, well, what's the point of this? It's like, well, the point is Zargon is automated, so everyone could be heroes if you want to. Because some people just don't like to be the GM. Like that's been a problem since the game first came out because it's like, yeah, you get to kill the heroes, but like you don't have a lot to do. A lot of it is passive. It's not like Space Crusade where you're an active competitor. Um,
Missing out on the adventure, pretty much.
yeah. So it's like I don't mind. I actually like being Zargon, but as a kid, it's just kind of like, it's boring. I want to be the barbarian and kill stuff. So it's like, okay, so you can all play against Zargon, but the thing is, like the AI is so rudimentary. Like the monster just runs forward and attacks you, or like the monster will like use a spell but then like won't take advantage. It's like, no, you use the spell and then you get on the guy. It's like, no, they hang back. It's like, what are you doing? So, or it's like, oh, you've got them in the doorway and it's like you could go around and flank them, but then the monsters don't know to do that. And it's like, but still, I didn't give those guys enough credit because when you think about HeroQuest, like you got their 14 quests plus 10 in each of the 4 expansions. It's like each quest has a new gimmick. So they had to program a whole bunch of new stuff in for each one to like make it work. And it's still free and there's no ads. It's like, yeah, it's still good. And the fact that they left stuff out is actually a strength because you still got to have the physical game. I mean, yeah, you can just cheat and pretend like, oh yeah, I just got 1,000,000 gold from that, or oh, I just rolled, all skulls, you know. But you can incorporate the house rules, the homebrew that you have in mind, like in the game, because like in the European version, okay, the crossbow can hit anybody in the room. All right. So if you're playing with those rules in mind, you just, oh yeah, I'm just going to hit that orc there. And so you roll your dice and I hit him. Whereas if you're playing with the North American rules, okay, you just point your finger like, okay, I can only hit that one there because it's got to be direct line of sight. Like, okay, and then you roll your dice, and that's how it works. So it allows you that freedom. Now sometimes they stomp on your freedom, like with the rescue of Sir Ragnar. When you're supposed to save the guy, he gets to the stairs, the quest immediately ends. It's like, no, that's not how you play it. You're supposed to get him to safety, and then loot the rest of the dungeon at your leisure. Killing any remaining monsters. That's how you play. But the thing is, with the app, it's like, yeah, the app doesn't force you to like clear the board, knock your pieces over. You just keep playing. It's like, yeah, the app said we won, but we're gonna keep playing. You can do that. So I kind of like the fact that they did that. That they didn't
Okay.
force like every little thing to be automated and animated, and it's the honor system. And I guess in a way, if you're playing with like tabletop simulator, which is $20, and then it's a mod that someone made for HeroQuest, it's kind of like that too, because yeah, it's like, well, what does this card do? Well, you tell Zargon what it does, and then he moves the stuff around, or you move it around, whatever. You agree amongst yourselves. So yeah, if you had a tournament, like I would love to do that sometime. I mean, we've spent like the better part of a year playing the Frozen Horror, but I would love to sit down and just play a quest with the European rules. I would love to play like some of the Japanese quests with that rule set, and just like, it doesn't matter if nobody's played it that way before. It's like we're all just learning it together, trying it out, seeing what's fun about it, you know.
Right.
Because with the remake, they did mix together. They took some of the items that were in the European version but removed from the North American version and like brought them back. So like the holy water, like that was gone. They brought that back. Like the hand axe, they brought that back. The bracers, they brought that back. So like the wizard can have a little bit more armor, stuff like that. It was like, that's cool. And some of those artifacts that were used in the new adventures, but those new adventures are not included in the retail version, they still put them in the box. So we looked at like the Phantom Blade and Fortune's Longsword. Like you never find those in the quests. But I mean, if you're playing, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna hide that sword in the tomb. So when you search, you find it. It's like, sweet. Or you kill this bad guy. Oh, he was carrying the Phantom Blade. Awesome.
I want, if we ever do something with like my box, or maybe a suggestion for you would be like making it like roguelike esque, like doing a dungeon where like the loot you find is absolutely like crazy random, or including like loot that might include like really weak weapons or strong weapons, stuff that would help you on your quest, or like completely like be useless. And then like let's say your character dies, and of course they have to restart. They're back to having no skills, no nothing.
Yeah, just basic.
But just adding that simple thing in where like because usually a lot of that stuff is planned out for the quest. Adding that difficulty modifier where everything is just like random, like pull some random equipment or whatever, and like add some of that stuff in.
Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. The way I play, I'm very generous with like giving stuff away. Like I have every opportunity, I give people new potions, new equipment. I let them search for stuff that normally you wouldn't really find anything. But the reason I do that is because I'm playing like the most unfair, like unbalanced, broken quests of all, which are the Frozen Horror quests. So I figure, yeah, you get all these bonuses, but you're going to need every single one of them. Versus, yeah, in the regular game, you play, the trial enough times, it's like, this isn't challenging anymore. So yeah, making it completely like different. Because you've got like 24 treasure cards. What if you had 100 cards? Or what if you had to roll dice to get it? Or what if all the equipment wasn't good? What if some of it was junk?
Yeah. Or like you have to roll when you loot and it's broken.
Yeah.
Like stuff broken. Like that. Like, or
Yeah, just... you can. Yeah, there's lots of stuff. I mean, I could make an entire video with.
Night, Joe. Have a good night, man.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Yeah, sorry we got started so late. All right. Catch you next time. Yeah, so on the Rantcast. Yeah, HeroQuest allows you to do all that stuff. And some of the things, like if you go online and start looking up HeroQuest, you might get the idea that like everybody thinks the same way and likes the same stuff. It's not true. Like how many web pages will you find where they're like, oh yeah, the crossbow can only hit 9 squares away and you got to buy, arrows for it. And if you roll 2 black shields, the string breaks. It's like there's like several mods that use that same. It's like, I don't like that. I want it to be almighty and just able to just kill anyone. But I also restrict it so that the 8 squares around you can't be hit. So you got to pull out your sword and use it.
Right.
Whereas other people are like, oh no, the 4 diagonal squares doesn't say you can't hit there, so you should be able to. And then your longsword's useless. And then they're like, well, it should be 2-handed because you got to take your other hand to load the the bolt in there. And it's like, okay, fine, well, all right. But yeah, it's like my compromise with a lot of that stuff is the uncommon feat. It's like it's not really part of the rules, but if somebody is one of those people that's like, well, it would be more realistic if I did this, it's whatever. It's like, okay, well, I'll give you a chance for that to happen. And there's definitely guys, you may have seen this if you watched the last game we recorded. I'll say, hey, do you want to do an uncommon feat? And the guy's like, no. Like, no. And it's like, okay, well, he could be saying that because he doesn't want to risk it failing, or that's just not the way that he plays the game. Like when he played it, he didn't have those, so he feels like he doesn't want to go that direction.
Doesn't want to cheese it or anything.
Yeah, and it's like I've never had anybody turn down a wrestling move. Like people have always gone with that, but I mean, you could get someone says, nah, I don't want to. I'm like, all right, it's fine. And in the last quest, somebody's like, well, I want to search the corridor for treasure. It's like, normally you can't do that. But in the first edition of the game, you could. It's like, sure, why not? No one's ever asked me that. Go for it. It might be a wandering monster. It might not be something good, but you could still try it. Yeah, so HeroQuest definitely has that ability. So even if they stop production of it, people can still use their imagination. They can still keep the game going. There's all these, but I love the fact that you can buy a game. We were talking about this with a mod that a lot of people like called Mound of the Beastmen. They're like, well, why don't they take Mound of the Beastmen and make it an official mod, like release it? And then I was thinking, oh, great, this is going to be like that, we own your mods thing with D&D and all that.
Okay. We're live again.
TheRantCast.
Oh, man.
So, that sucked.
Funny story.
Ooh.
Kurgan was having internet trouble earlier. We both have the same ISP, and usually I don't have any real trouble with my ISP over on my side of town.
When it works, it's great. When it doesn't, it pisses me off.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, my router died and just reset itself. Because I went over to go check, and it was giving out different lights, and then just rebooted.
So I don't know. And all that stuff about Ubisoft, they heard you.
Probably. Oh well.
Yeah. I want to finish my thought here, and then is it going to be break time? We don't have ad break.
Quick break.
Yeah.
No, but
we need to rest. Yeah, I was on a roll. It's good to have you back, man. Yeah. So we were having a conversation in HeroQuest fans community about mods. And about one of these mods that's out there, which I've never played, but I guess it's well liked by a lot of people. It's called Mound of the Beastmen, and it uses the orange dice, like the German dice, but not the version that I have. So it's an older mod. But someone was saying oh yeah, Avalon Hill should just take this and make it a commercial mod. And I was like, I don't know if you want to go down that route. First of all, we just went through the whole thing with D&D and the paid mods and the question of who owns what and who's restricted. It's just leave it alone. The other thing is, if let's say I'm a person who's just a casual gamer, I see HeroQuest and it's why should I buy this? Oh, you can make your own stuff, but I don't want to do that. That's it's too much work. But then I see that there's all these free fan-made mods that are out there, easy print and play, whatever. I can use proxy miniatures. It's great. It's already there. That's a selling point. That's I'm gonna buy it now because I've got it. But yeah, if I have to buy every single one of those mods, that's not as cool. Because what's going to happen to the free version if they start selling it, So I'm just just leave that alone.
Just go away.
Go away. Yeah. So I mean, there's mods out there like White Dwarf magazine that was Games Workshop. I mean, everybody's like, when's Games Workshop coming back? Never say never. Who knows? But they had a magazine where they would publish fan created stuff, or they'd have guest writers. It's is that stuff ever going to come out? Do they have to track that person down and get permission to publish it? I mean, that'd be the right thing to do. Then again, someone could just go online and they happen to find a copy of that magazine and just make that quest and just play it. But the real fun is making your own quest. And yeah, it's okay, the one that you made when you're 8 years old isn't going to be the same as the one you made yesterday. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I think HeroQuest is in good hands. Prophecy of Telor is going to be coming out again, and everybody's speculating okay, well, what's going to be in the box? Just the quest book in the holographic cover that people have been showing, it's all shiny and stuff, foil cover. That's awesome. But what else will be in there? Maybe a few cards. I mean, they could, if they wanted to, they could put those mythic alternate monster sculpts in there. The gargoyle and the abominations and zombies and mummies, and that'd be really awesome. And then yeah, it's okay, it'll make the scalpers angry. It's who cares? It'll make some of the collectors upset. Okay, well, but from my standpoint, if you're a true collector, you've got baseball card A and baseball card B, and God's physics, they're exactly 100% the same, but one of them has a different serial number, a different date stamp. And so that, as a collector, determines that one is worth, $100,000 and one is worth $2.
Oh,
That's just how it is.
Humans are so fickle. It drives me nuts.
But it's like this idea that, well, no, I'm the only one in the world that has this. But it's like, are you the type of person that just like keeps it in the package and never takes it out? Like, this was not created as a collector's item. This was created as a game. Like, this is the game that you introduce your kids to. This is the game that you all play, and then either you put it away or you keep playing it, or you go off and play, Magic the Gathering or D&D or whatever. But
I don't mind keeping things
yeah,
in the box, but like people who are like, this is the special super edition that only 2 copies have been made. And
it's like
$1 billion.
I'm gonna send it to Red Letter Media, and they're gonna melt it down in acetone. So my one copy is gonna be worth so much more now. It's like, thanks guys, thanks. It's like, it's dumb. Well, think about this. Like NECA makes these action figures for adults that are like, they have like 100 points of articulation, and they're hand painted, and they're officially licensed, but they're trash. They're garbage. Like, people have done videos where it's just like, yeah, it just breaks. And so it's meant to be left inside the package. It's just a fantasy. Like, oh man, if I were a kid with unlimited money, like I would have this 12-inch Predator doll that has like all the accessories. Yeah, but you don't get to play with it. You don't even get to like give it to your kid for Christmas and like see them play with it and go, oh yeah, it's fun. It's like nothing. So it's like, this is a functional thing, and yeah, why does it matter? So it's like, okay, fine, just make a new sculpt of these exclusive figures, and they can check it off the box. I mean, I guess it feels a little cheesy. It's like George Lucas saying this is the last time you can own the original version of Star Wars, and it's like, no. He released it on DVD, but it was just slightly different. The soundtrack was slightly tweaked, and the opening crawl was a little bit different.
Oh, man.
But it's like 99.9999% the same. Trip your trigger with that one. But yeah, it's like, I think I own the Mythic tier, and I have 3 copies of the Guardian Knight, and so I want other people to have that stuff. Like, I'm not going to go online and sell it for anything. I'm going to keep it and play with it and enjoy it. But I want other people to have it, because it's like, yeah, with HeroQuest, like, okay, if you're not going to play it, you're going to play it by yourself with a companion app, and that's all you're going to do. Or you're going to have, a few friends over and you're going to play it. But it's like, the whole world gets to enjoy this. And if we're playing it on HeroQuest fans, yeah, okay, half a dozen people from across the world are going to join us and have fun for a week, and then the next week some new people will come in. But yeah, if you're just hoarding it for yourself, that's, I don't know, it's like completely the opposite spirit of the original product.
I have,
you know what I mean?
I have stuff on that we'll get into here after the break.
It's like,
but anyway,
it's like getting Pokemon and not collecting it. It's like the opposite. It's like, that's meant to be collected. So anyway,
we'll talk about that here after the break. Anyway, we're gonna take a quick.
Thanks for letting me rant.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll go ahead and be right back. So don't go away. Rantcast.
Yeah. Great.
And 1 second here. Good stuff. It's good stuff. Alright, I finally got my drink. Have my drink, my invisible drink. See that? Check that out.
That's some nice disappearing stuff there. Good old Karl
Yes.
Casey and good old AI, whatever.
Yeah, so probably should mention that here. Music brought to you by Karl Casey at Whitebat Audio. Got a good selection of music from synthwave to cyberpunk type industrial synthwave and horror type of horror feel music. Also got a variety of other types of instrumental music. So go ahead and give them a check at YouTube. Just search Whitebat Audio.
Yep, I like his stuff too. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. All right. So, what we got next on the docket? Ah, yes. What grinds my gears today, folks?
Ooh,
this.
Here it comes.
So, there's tons of other sources I could credit this from, but we'll just grab this from Eurogamer. I also got this from another podcast that I frequent about every week or so, and that's the Cats of Super Beast. You can go check them out. They're pretty cool guys. So, if anybody hasn't heard, or isn't aware, Ubisoft's kind of been under the scope for longer than now. The last, I don't know, 5 years, I think. From anywhere to like since the microtransaction thing with EA to allegations of sexual assault and rape. Pardon me.
Yeah.
And I have to use the word because that's what it is. And we're they've also been accused of also horrendous crunch, like a lot of other video game development companies, and burnout. Just treating their workers like I'm just gonna simplify it for you. Treating their workers like garbage, while the upper management and the big time people, big wigs, take a lot of the credit and or cash, kind of reap the benefits.
Ugly stuff.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, Ubisoft does make some decent content every now and then, but they kind of have the same repeated formula in a lot of their games. If you ever notice, you play Assassin's Creed, there's a lot of the same garbage that gets recycled. If you notice, some of their games have kind of I don't know about longer development cycles, but this isn't a new trend where a development studio will, and I'm going to bring this up here, but I'm just going to mention this real quick, where a development studio will say they're working on a game, and it takes about, I don't know, 5 years to make, and usually because a lot of people complain that a game gets released every year or so, and it's like not great, or it's a cookie cutter, but the same can be said for a game that's takes too long.
Development hell.
So, I don't know if anybody's heard. Have you ever heard of the game Beyond Good and Evil?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
Can't say I've ever played it, but I've heard of it. It's one of those titles that's kind of like on all those lists of, top whatever games or whatever.
We'll go ahead and we'll just look up an image. Okay, this is the original. This is what the original looked like. This came out for PS2.
That looks really familiar.
I think it was PS2, GameCube.
I bet you I have it somewhere.
Right?
Never played it though.
If I remember right, it was not. This is
what kind of game
released. Kind of hard to say. It came out around the time of like Ratchet and Clank, so kind of like platform, but it's an action adventure game. So,
action adventure.
They say it came out in 2003. I think it was around 2002 or 2003, but it was a very good game. Very good game. I played it back then. I haven't played it since. I probably should emulate it and try it again.
Yeah, I probably have it in
But
one of those collections somewhere.
yeah, it's a very decent title. And it had that kind of niche like
I've got Ratchet and Clank
style
too.
that like a lot of the games were having around that time. So it's very popular. And then I can't remember when they announced the second one per se. I think it was like 04 or 06. I can't remember. Like I said, this is going to be a little inaccurate for me, but it was around that time period. The same time period they were going to announce the sequel. It went through a very large amount of development. How like it changed hands, and it just never came out. People thought it was just canceled, whatever. And then all of a sudden we kind of got we got an announcement, I believe, in 2018 from Ubisoft, if I remember right, stating that they were going to be releasing Beyond Good and Evil 2. Which, everybody applauds in that time, it was a big thing. And, yeah, it was 2017. E3 2017. So, the thing I'm bringing up here is the trailer. So, I'll do this shortly after I read the article. But, give me 1 second here. And there is a link that I'll have for kind of its development hell cycle, because I think the first one kind of went through the same thing. But the company, I think it's Ubisoft Multiplay, I think is how they pronounce it. But it's the extremely long in development title, Beyond Good and Evil 2, is reportedly facing upheaval as it grapples with a labor investigation into unprecedented levels of employee stress and sickness, and the departure of its managing director.
Yeah, it's a bad sign.
Yeah,
your team
so
just like quitting on you. Oh, everybody's sick.
well, it's also not just that. Like this, this also gets
it
gets really bad.
Yeah. So before we get into this too far, is this like, you sometimes hear these stories coming out of Hollywood, like of abusive management on movies sets and stuff like that. Is this worse than that, do you think, or is this just the fact that we're hearing about this from a game company and we have maybe different expectations?
I think this is kind of like a thing that's coming into the light, because I think it's a little bit worse. The movie industry's kind of gotten hit with it the past, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, and they kind of had to tone down. I mean, it's probably still happening every now and then, but like, how people are kind of speaking out about, the mistreatment between not only gender affiliation, stuff like that in that industry, but I think the game industry was such a small and unnoticeable thing in a lot of society that for the longest time that it just was not being noticed, and people thought that it was being addressed, or were like guidelines and stuff just like in any other workplace. But big studios have been getting caught with their pants down left and right the last like 6 or 7 years,
literally
just doing doing horrible shit. And
I mean, I'm not trying to say like, oh, it's somehow excused because it was happening all the time, but it kind of makes a lot of sense that like these big companies, like, yeah, either they cover it up or it falls through the cracks, or there's just so much money and pressure and power involved that, yeah, people get abused, and it's really terrible. But anyway,
well, not just that, but like it's just there's favoritism. There's it was like I was saying, like with our first episode of the Rantcast, I was talking about L.A. Noire, and and how he would verbally abuse employees, and then he defended himself on it, saying that if you're not built for this industry, because if you're in with my team, you're here building a dream, and you're here to build a goal, and blah blah blah, and like it's a video game, guy. Like yes, it's, to me, it can be a work of art. It could be something that brings people into an environment or a world that you love to be in. But at the end of the day, there are much more pressing matters in our world that are not video games.
Yeah. And
They,
who's to
you know,
say that the game that you made is that much better because your employees all hate you and are like stressed out and like not sleeping and
well, to me, yeah, it's not worth that. Like, you're not saving the earth. You're not like, we're not saving the country. We're not making anything
yeah.
really a better place with your video game, other than you're making some people happy. You're putting
Yeah.
entertainment in
Games are
front of
fun.
people. So you're doing a service, but at the same time, like people think that the entertainment industry is something that trumps like food and water almost. And like
Yeah.
it's not.
Well, it gets absurd and it's like you hear about like people risking their lives to make this stuff and it's like I didn't want you to do that. Like I just wanted a game. Like if that's what it costs, like yeah, it feels gross to like
Well,
support it now.
and it's getting to the point to where like they are getting like certain games are getting expensive to make because they're taking like 200-300 people to make these big and wild environments. But
Yeah. Not
the
just a couple of guys in their basement anymore, just,
yeah,
hacking out something.
yeah, but the companies don't want to take the time or effort to either put more money into it, or
Oh, yeah.
they want to take more than a couple years to develop it. I wouldn't
Rather
mind
than free
3 or 4 years for a decent title if that's what it took. Like I said, Red Dead Redemption 2 took a lot of crunch, and it took the company like 4 or 5 years from its or longer from its pre-production to
hmm
the finale. But they didn't announce anything about it. They weren't saying, "Oh, it's coming out, get hype." They just
Yeah.
to
Duke
let people
confirmed
know
coming
later
out,
on.
guys. Tai
Yeah.
Katana. It's coming. Yeah.
But anyway, like I was saying, so this company is known for Rayman, the Rayman games.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I've got a few of those.
but under studio founder, I'm gonna get this wrong, but it's Mikel Ancel, I think, who departed in 2020 amid claims of toxic behavior. Is currently being investigated under multiples inspection de travail due to
Mm.
an unprecedented number of developers experiencing burnout and going on sick leave. Now, once again, I apologize if I
See, you're
mispronounce
doing
any of that.
something wrong.
My
You're doing
French is
something wrong
horrible.
if like if yeah, if you're burning out your employees like that, that's on you, I think. It's not just like,
Um,
oh, these people were weak. It's like, well, who
and
hired them?
it's not uncommon though. Like, and
Yeah,
this is
sucks.
big. So, according to the website sources, those who were unauthorized to speak about the issue and wish to remain anonymous.
Yeah.
Dozens of the company's developers, including many leads, have taken extended leave for stress or sickness over the last year, with some choosing not to return. A situation leading to a visit from the French labor inspection office in December.
See,
So,
regulatory risk here. You're not
so
just
they
being
Kotaku says
jerks.
that
You're actually, yeah, go for it. Sorry,
they
reacting.
no, you're all right, man. The visit resulted in hiring of a third party entity, which has now been tasked with interviewing multiple employees to provide a full report on the health and well being of the studio's teams, something Ubisoft has now confirmed. Which they stated the health and wellness of their teams is an ongoing priority given the length of the development cycle with Beyond Good and Evil 2. The development team is undergoing well being assessments through a third party for preventative measures to evaluate where additional support may be needed. To kind of summarize here, so I was completely wrong here. The game was first teased by Ubisoft in 2008, was not heard of again until 2017, and we are now just getting news on it now in 2023. Game is, I think, still in pre-production. So
Something else I wanted to say about this. Like, okay, so you're as a company, you're chewing these people up and spitting them out. What do you think that's doing to the industry? Because now these people are, I mean, they got to find work, but it's like, how likely are they to just sign up with another game company now?
well, then no,
Maybe
they're
the one that
not.
won't
Like,
treat them.
this is one of those things where a lot of companies are that get signed on to certain companies, like they can get ruined by something like this. So they either get merged into a different company, and I mean, like, that's a whole nother story entirely. But like, um, this is a passion project that somebody within Ubisoft is keeping alive. I have to like,
And I have a
they
soft
they
spot for passion projects. Like, I
but
want to see them come out.
because most um they were talking on this on the podcast that I was listening to as well, and I'm going to agree with them on this. Um, no game goes into development this long, has this many resources poured into it, and does not leave pre-production. Like, usually it's shelved or canceled at this point. Um, and like I said, and that clicks in my brain. The game is now being delayed again. Now remember, we talked about the KOTOR remake fucking shelved indefinitely after they took a look at it and said, "Look, you're being careless with it. We're taking you off the project," and now it's shelved indefinitely. We don't know when that game's coming out.
Like, it's
But
gonna
like
hurt the brand to release it. I mean, I
this
guess the
game,
people got paid working on it. Hopefully,
well, yeah, but they were trying to crunch like within a year or two's time to release a full RPG.
couldn't
Like,
do it.
and
Not realistic at all.
yeah, this was teased in 2008, and like, oh, like over 10 years ago. Like I said, I was in high school when this game was teased.
Well, now you realize like why people risk like leaking like incomplete versions of these games just to say like
But the game's not even made. That's what I'm saying
yeah.
is like it's
Oh
it's
shoot.
it's one of those things where like they teased a game in pre-production. It has gone through different hands because of quality, all the way to 2017 when they said, "Oh, good, we're gonna release it." They released this, which was a like CGI trailer because they finally must have had somebody agree with something, and then finally they're still not settled on what the game's going to be, I guess, and they have burnt their employees out so bad that they're being inspected. And just letting people know, I don't think the game is officially going to ever come out, and I think this has been like I don't think it's tax evasion, but I think there's something going on behind the scenes because it's it's it is really just either somebody's personal passion project that they can't seem to agree on, like nobody can get it to meet his or her vision, or there is some shady dealing going on with this
I
project. It's
mean,
being held for some reason, but
the
the
room got released to theaters, ladies and gentlemen.
well, not just that, but like most people, how do you hold hype for this long? Nobody there, like there are kids that are this old. Like,
Yeah.
2018, or I'm sorry, 2008 was how long ago? We're looking at what, 15, almost 15 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are kids in high school. I was in high school when this was announced first.
Yeah. Like you've
my
you've moved on with your life.
My second daughter was born when this trailer came out. The game is either not coming out, or when it releases, it's going to be like nobody's going to want to have it, and it's going to hold to such high expectations. It's not going to sell very well. Yeah. So I like I said, I feel like, what were you doing in 08, Kurgan? What were you?
Oh yeah, I was in school. I was in grad school.
Okay, so
having the time of my life.
Imagine how if somebody announced a game you were looking forward to.
Oh, sweet.
And you had to be holding on to it since then. Like, no way.
Yeah.
So,
well, there have been some projects where it's like, yeah, I was interested, but like, yeah, after a year, it's like, it's not happening. My money's gone. My pre-order, forget it. Like, walk away. Like, I don't even want it. Like, don't even give it to me. I don't even want it. Like
this is all that's left of this project right now. The CGI trailer. This is it. And
creative.
Like I said, the game, it's supposed to be a prequel to the original game, but I don't know. I'm not
Cyber Monkey, Pigman. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not huge on on the game much anymore. It came out during a time period where like it was games were still pretty arcadey. So
I like arcadey games.
but like I don't know if there's anybody right now.
It'd be like Duke Nukem
Who
Forever if it came out. It'd just be like, okay, well,
yeah, that's
kind of a weird.
it's a Duke Nukem situation. Although I think this is almost just as long, if not longer, than that.
But at least it stayed within one company, right? It hasn't been changed hands like 10
Yeah, it's
times.
George Broussard. Yeah, so it would have been 3D Realms, and well, with the help of Gearbox for um, the final version. Yes, because like I said, and like I said, my source for this one was Castle Super Beast, in which Pat mentioned the fact that either something's going on with this game, or you've got a Duke Nukem situation where the the game has been either switching hands or they've been going slow for so long on the development because they've been so picky about it that whatever you had was so outdated you had to rebuild the game again because they were like, oh, a new game engine came out, we got to rebuild it in this.
They weren't just sitting in the lounge playing Tekken 3 instead of developing the game.
Yeah, or like I said, George Broussard was picky about his game, like so.
Apparently, too much for his own good.
Yeah, so I feel like this is one of those things where, you can't. I don't know. I don't feel like it's necessary anymore.
Yeah, that situation makes me think of like Jedi Knight. Like Jedi Knight was delayed a lot before it came out. It's like just imagine if they'd Justin Chin and the people at LucasArts had been like, oh snap, the Quake 2 engine is out. Let's like redo the whole game. And like, oh Quake 3 is out. Let's redo the whole game. Like it would never come out.
For me
Unreal.
On this one, since it's a prequel, from what I know, this is a prequel to the original.
It's
my
like
advice to whoever, well, it's a CGI. This isn't actual game footage, but my advice to whoever is personally overseeing this game or whoever really wants to hold on to this, quit announcing it. Just make your game, get it done, or at least have it halfway to almost done, and then announce your fucking game. Because like at this point,
Nike, just do it.
People aren't gonna fucking know what this is anymore. You shouldn't even be calling it 2.
Shia LaBeouf. Do it.
Like, you should just call it Beyond Good and Evil and make it a prequel to the original, and then make the original the second one at this point, because nobody except for the diehard fans to this game, which are my age or higher, are going to know what this game is. So, like I said, people have grown up since the original. The original was like I said, it was 03. It was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's 2 decades.
It's like, oh man, I can't wait for the new Garbage Pail Kids cards to come out. It's like time has passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll introduce this to my kids. Man, this was the game that I spent my whole life waiting for. It sucks, Daddy. You're right, son. It does suck.
Yeah, I'm not huge on on it much anymore, and the fact that now they're being investigated just makes it even worse. So.
Oh yeah.
But
it just matters how good your manners are and how big your
pocketbook is.
Reminded me of Dex a little bit.
But yeah, I'm not. But yeah, moving on. I mean, just to finalize.
So they bungled the game, and they're being investigated for being for scumbags.
It's for labor. But yeah, this is it's another one of those situations where I'm pretty sure the guy managing the game knew shit was gonna go down, packed his briefcase, jumped out the window, and headed for the hills. And so yeah, your game ain't coming out, guy. So
game ain't coming out, mate.
At least not right now. Next on the docket. I mean, unless you got any final words about that.
Man, if I had spent my life working on a game, it's like I'd want to see it come out And then of course everyone would savage it and say how much it sucked.
I
But
mean,
at least I'd have closure. At least have
people
closure.
in the credits are going to be like, if there's ever going to be credits for that game, and there's going to be an original development credit, that dude is probably going to be elderly at that point.
Makes me think of, again, Duke Nukem Forever, where like they roll the dice and like each face of the die is like another company that changed hands, and it's just like, dang, that's ridiculous. I still hold out hope for fans to make their own mods with the leaked Duke Nukem Forever engine.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Well, they are working on restoring it. I told you about that, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen this yet. We could actually look at this. For Dragon Ball fans, there is a trailer for the next Budokai Tenkaichi, which is very awkward. I didn't quite see this coming.
Is this going to be stream friendly?
I don't know, but we'll
put on the hot tub goggles for mature audiences only.
Oh no, I don't know. It's not gonna be like, there's no boobas or anything. If that's
okay, it's not Duke Nukem's desktop gallery.
No, but we will put sound.
Rated T for teen.
Let's take a look.
Rating pending to teen. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I feel like this is just an homage.
It's to the Dragon
original games.
Dragon Ball, coming at you from the universe. There's a couple of guys throwing magic at each other, and it's really cool. It's Dragon Ball.
Now hold on, because I haven't seen this either. This is new for me. This is interesting.
This is not your father's Dragon Ball.
Never.
Ugh, I've never felt this much power before. I can't control it.
The big thing here is I don't understand why they're releasing, unless they're just running out of ideas, why they're going back to Tenkaichi though. Oh, is that it? That's it. That's it, everybody.
$100 million for that.
Yeah, it was just a the teased you, and they were actually showcasing, if I remember right. Is that Budokai? No, those are the Tenkaichi games. Okay.
Kind of reminds me of Special Edition. It's like, for over 25 years, you've only seen Star Wars the only way it's been possible on a small screen. But now, thanks to enhanced digital effects from THX and George Lucas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Star Wars returns for a whole new generation.
I'm interested because I was a Dragon Ball fan as a child, but I played Kakarot. But
after my time, they made so many games, and were any of them good?
Yeah, so like I said, so before Tenkaichi there was just Budokai. There was Budokai 1, 2, and 3, and they were all improvements on one another. Like, I played the original Budokai on the PlayStation, and then I didn't play much of Budokai 2, but I did play Budokai 3, and that one was the best out of all the three. And they were just side by side fighters. Like, it was the camera just put 2 and 2, and you'd fight.
Like
and you'd use combos to use superpowers, and the Super Saiyan thing was like just like a power up, and it only lasted for a certain amount of time. It wasn't like like the shows or anything.
I mean, it looks like a winning formula. Like, how cool it'd be to like fly around and shoot, fireballs at people.
So when I was a kid, so when I was a kid and I was playing those games, I was always like, oh man, how cool would it be to have like an open world DBZ game where you could like fly around and be Goku and blah blah blah. I was like 8 years old, and then Tenkaichi came out and they did that. Like, it had a big roster where you could play as like, you remember that guy that died in this movie? You could play as him. Like, it opened up
what you wanted. Fan dream comes alive.
Yeah, and they improved each game. So like, by the time you got to Tenkaichi 3, it was like you had I don't know, they had like a fuck ton of characters, and from like characters you only saw in like 1 or 2 episodes, and it had a really neat storyline that was really close to the show, and the only thing I thought was okay about it was the combat was iffy, and it was like third person. It was behind, like, it showed like from behind the character. So
Oh, so not even like Street Fighter.
no, and that's what Tenkaichi was. It was more of an immersive fighting experience with, like, it was this, like, it was Goku simulator. So um and then they went from that to, I can't remember what they did. Oh, they did Raging Blast after that. It was like Raging Blast, I believe, was on PS3, and that was similar. But like Tenkaichi allowed you to start your character in any form. So if it was Goku, you could start him in his regular form. You could do, Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, whatever, as long as you had him unlocked. But and they had, like, sometimes it was just for cosmetic purposes. Sometimes they had like strength enhancements and whatever. Um, but then you had like
DLC armband.
Xenoverse. You had Xenoverse, and you had, after Raging Blast, there's a couple other games that came out that I can't remember, but there was Xenoverse, Xenoverse 2, and then Kakarot recently.
Maybe I did
And
see somebody playing one of these, and it's like it looked like it had cell shaded animation. It's like, oh, this like kind of looks like the cartoon,
yeah, and
even though I didn't
Kakarot
really
was
watch it. Yeah.
Kakarot was good, and it had it was an RPG. It was a Dragon Ball RPG, so you could go pretty much anywhere in the universe and do stuff. But um, I feel like every one of these games kind of has, like, Tenkaichi 3 was probably the closest it came to feeling like super satisfying. But the other games, they always had like a feel for, either it missed its mark, or it was like, oh man, it's close to what I wanted it to be, but it doesn't quite scratch that itch. Like,
Kind
Kakarot
of
was
like Star Wars
great
Battlefront.
because it, like, you could go just about anywhere in that storyline. You play as different characters, but it was missing features for an open world RPG, that, like, there wasn't a lot to do randomly, not a lot of extra stuff. Like, there was fighting challenges. It met the fighting aspect, but I kind of miss the open world games that allowed you to do extra stuff. Like, you can go inside these buildings and do extra stuff, or you know, uh, so it was missing certain qualities, but it didn't make it bad. So, you know, kind of stuff like that. So I'm glad they're kind of going back to this formula where it focuses more on fighting, and then kind of still leaves you with the third person view, and so that the game is just focused on fighting and they don't have to do any extra stuff. Um, but who knows? They've always kind of been releasing, like, different games to try to see where they can hit their mark, and I feel like lately Dragon Ball hasn't quite been interesting, but it's sparked up a lot with people lately. Like, they're like, oh man, they're releasing another Tenkaichi, and, like, just letting people know that game, like, the original Budokai, I thought was better because it's just strictly a fighting game, and you know,
All it needs to be, really, right?
yeah. But Tenkaichi was extra, and people liked the extra. When I feel like it's gonna bring back the kid in them, and, like, that's what I feel like this is going to do. It's gonna put more asses in seats, and they're gonna sell a lot more copies, and then you're gonna go home, you put download it, or you come home with the disc, and you're gonna play it, and you're gonna be like, this doesn't give me the same feeling. I mean, it's good, like, the fighting feels fluid, but your imagination isn't going to spark as much anymore because you're like 35 years old. And when I was 8, I liked being able to play at whatever form I wanted to be in as Goku, and pretend I was fighting Frieza all the time, and blah blah blah. Like, I'm I don't do that much anymore. I play those games because I like them and they're fun. I don't play them because you know I sit in my home going you know so I feel like if you're gonna buy this, buy it because you like the game, you liked the genre. Um, don't buy it to reinvigorate the kid in you.
Because you can never go back.
No, you true, like, that's the thing that I think my generation has the hardest time doing, and I think that a lot of businesses are taking advantage of, is nostalgia, and nostalgia is a great thing, but if you feel like you can return back to your kiddom at our age, I hate to sound like an asshole, but you get 3 seconds of that, and then it's over. So
Yeah.
you
Well,
to be honest,
it's
you're not a kid. You can have a kid like spirit. You can be, but
yeah, young at heart. Well, it's like
yeah,
for me with the HeroQuest thing, like the nostalgia thing, that's gone. Like that was just at the start. Now it's just like, oh, I'm just having fun playing this game with people. It's not just like, oh, this is exactly like it was when I was 12.
yeah, I
Like
will play with my
past that.
kids and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's not the same feeling as when you were a child. So,
Yeah.
like I said,
And
this
it,
is this
it
is that.
you can appreciate good art at different stages in your life because you're a different person. You know,
Yeah,
you're the same person, but you've had different experiences. Life's taught you different things, and yeah, it's gonna mean something different. Just like, oh yeah, I remember this old thing. Like sometimes you go back to stuff and it's like, it just it was okay back then, but it just doesn't resonate the same way anymore.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Is like a lot of people who've reviewed this or looked at it, they're like, "Oh God, it's coming out!" Oh, roar! And like, dude, the last Tenkaichi game came out. Once again, this is a game that came out 15 years ago. So, like,
Yeah,
why are they bringing it back? Look at the real reason they're bringing it back. Appreciate they're bringing it back, but like, let's not like fucking freak out like we're 7 years old. Like, because
yeah.
you'll get it home, you'll play it for I don't know 25 hours, unless you're a fighting game fanatic. You'll play it for maybe 25 hours tops. You'll unlock all the characters. Even that, you'll unlock all the characters. You'll do all the stuff,
You
unless
win
they
the
have DLC,
tournament,
because they'll probably turn this into a
Ferrari home.
DLC. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
because like the last game didn't have DLC. You had to unlock the characters. So they'll probably turn this into a DLC house,
I hate that.
and you'll
Yeah.
you know keep that in mind. Like Fighter Z had DLC, so this is probably gonna have the same thing. This isn't going to be like it was back in our days. Like this is probably gonna have, I don't know about microtransactions, but this will probably have add-on content. They're probably going
Yeah.
to want to make their money back. So
You get those combat codes on the playground, and you unlock like another character. That's
but
what I
yeah,
want.
um, so unless this is like a revamp, but it looks like it's a sequel according to what people are saying. So, um, yeah, I might get it, if I ever have the money. But
Yeah. Well, it's like
um,
all these franchise things. Like if they treat it right, if they treat the fans right, then I think it's a good thing. It's like great, you get to have your game again. You get to have your little memory. But
yeah,
it's when they ruin stuff and they set those expectations and then they just, stomp on the goodwill and just totally exploit it that it pisses me off because I know what it's like. So, I hope it's not like that.
yeah, and like I said, people are like saying like, man, it was so much fun 12 years ago, so much nostalgia, it was so good. Like, yeah, and like I said, it's great to see a sequel come back. I'm not saying it's not. Like I said, I'll probably get it. The big thing here is the fact that make sure it's good. One, two, it's not gonna be like it was back then. Three, most people who have played this game are either in their mid to late 20s or mid to late 30s. We are not children anymore. And like I said, being a kid at heart is great. Like I said, I still have an imagination that's prevalent with my children. I could still play with my children. I still like playing video games. I still have somewhat of that same feeling. But the big thing is you know the feeling that I had at that 8 to 12 when I was playing these games is not the same feeling that I had at you know 30 years old.
Yeah. Back then you had
It's
not a care in the world. You didn't mind, staying up late trying to master some game. Now it's like
yeah,
I got other stuff to do, so this is
but
just going to be a measured
and I'm not saying that's
experience.
for all audiences, right? Some people are buying this game because they do enjoy it and they want to play through it. That's
Oh,
fine.
and is the old game like not there anymore, or is there a reason why
No,
we stopped playing that? Are people
it's
still
there.
playing that every day?
No, it's there. But I don't know if it's on newer consoles, but it's there.
It can be more
And you can
accessible,
emulate it. I think I
modern
have a,
graphics.
a version of that game, but um, But yeah,
Cell shaded
it's
graphics have come a long way. I'm thinking of like Transformers Devastation. Like when I played that, I was like, wow. Like I hadn't
ooh,
noticed how far the technology had gone.
they have an RE4 demo out because I'm looking at the Resident Evil 4 stuff
Resident
right now.
Evil.
If they have a demo, we might. Oh,
What was that game you telling me I needed to try? Alien Kill Team or something? Fire Team?
Alien Kill Team.
What am I trying to say? It's like
Oh, they
there's like
do. They have a chainsaw demo for this game.
there's like
Oh,
I'm talking about something else, but there's like an Aliens game. I guess it's too old for this podcast, but
Fire Team Elite, maybe.
maybe.
I don't know, but hey, do you you want to discuss Resident Evil while we're playing Resident Evil?
Whatever you want, man. You're driving. I almost said the bus, but driving
Driving the bus.
the Rant.
I didn't know there was a
Red
demo
bus.
for it. There's an actual
Yeah,
demo for this game out right now.
I like the
I
fact that demos are still around. Like that used to be
Oh
the
yeah,
best.
they've done it.
Try
They've
before you buy.
they've done it for Resident Evil
What a
since
concept.
the remakes came
What,
out. So
what a concept. What
yeah,
a concept.
I could use a little fuel myself. We could all use a little change.
Well, just stop and
And then don't stop
continue.
coming. You actually see if the game actually runs on my PC. That'll be fun. Well, it's up to you. I still have to ask you, Kurian, because it's something that this will actually be better than just me showcasing the trailer.
Sure.
You might actually watch me poop myself.
All right.
Viewer discretion advised, by the way.
Yep.
This
I've
is
got.
an M-rated game, so 18 plus. If you're not 18, you hop into this chat, you're getting banned.
That's right.
So don't say you're
Sure.
18, or don't say you're under 18.
Don't do it. Oh man.
Don't do it. Just don't do
I still haven't played through Code Veronica or Veronica X.
it.
I don't
Okay.
know. It's hard for me to get into that genre of game because I didn't play it back in the day. I'm just so used to the shoot 'em up. It's like, no, wait a minute. I don't have infinite ammo. I can't just like be Rambo on these zombies.
You cannot just be Rambo on the zombies.
No, gotta find the typewriter.
Um, Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. Fit to screen. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, my face.
My son.
Resident Evil 4 is the most disappointing thing since my son. My
My
other son.
my other son.
Ryan Johnson.
Rowan Johnson.
Rohan Johnson.
All right,
Yeah.
here we go.
Red letter. Something or other.
Red letter meteor.
Meteor.
Not fitting to screen.
All because they made fun of episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
They did it at the right time.
That's right.
That still doesn't look good. Hold on. Fit. Why is it all bonked out like that? That's weird. Give me 2 shakes, people. We'll do this. Like it's like all like wacky. This might be the last topic. I know you're probably getting tired, so
Rantcast.
well, so we're talking Resident Evil 4, and I actually just might play it on stream. So I wasn't planning on doing anything like that tonight. But kind of just actually asking people like, what do you think about it? Like, if you're excited for it or no, and because I am, and the game has a lot of shoes to fill. So want to see if this actually works. Oh, it's windowed. Ew. But some people may not be excited because it might take over the original game, and the original game was awesome. But a lot of people hold this game to like it's almost like somebody compared it to other. They think they're like they compare other games to this game. Like, oh, this game is the Resident Evil 4 of that genre. And I'm like, dude, no, come on, chill out. Like Resident Evil 4 is a good Resident Evil game.
Chill out, dipwad.
Yeah, I don't put it to like as like the icon. It was just it needed that change when the change was needed.
Yeah, Resident Evil is like the Resident Evil of Resident Evil games, when you think about it.
Oh yes, that made so much sense.
It totally did.
So this game comes out, I believe March 23rd. I believe. Why is this all? This is all lucky because of the window. Okay, sure. I don't consent. I do consent. Oh, yes. Sell all of my info to the nearest bad persons. Okay. Okay. Jesus, how many screens do I have to go through? Good Lord.
Well, whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise.
The big surprise? The biggest of surprises?
I'm Adam Gibson.
Let's see. Oh no, we're not playing this at. And blow up my video card. Okay. Display mode full screen. There we go. Cinematics. We just want full HD, bro. We don't want 4K. I can't do full 4K. Ray tracing.
My CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer.
It's a learning computer.
System goes online August 1st, 1997. In the panic, they tried to pull the plug. Eliminates the target in Russia. I don't remember the exact. It's just like.
Oh god, this game uses a lot of memory already. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, you're already out. You already need some new RAM. Just clicking through these menus.
Well, I do need a new GPU. I'm still using that 2080 Ti, but it should be enough.
My GPU is a 2080 GPI.
It's a neural net processor.
Ray tracing. Level 2 Texel support. 28 gigaflops per second.
Oh snap! It's in shadow quality. It was at max. It was like, oh no,
the guy taking a leak, like, yeah, 1,000 calculations per minute. 28 baud modem required.
So if I turn the shadows to, I'll just turn them to high. It'll be okay. Shadows should be fine. Oh, oof.
Public credits will do fine.
Hair strands. Oh god. Wow, they really want. They've like got that all the way down. Yeah, Bieber hair. Persistent corpses, few or many. Yes.
You want sticky blood or sploopy blood?
Wow, dude. They have a lot of settings. They have much more settings than they did in the other games. Rating
Spinning
quality.
ragdoll.
Oh, you can't have destructible environments? Wow. Okay.
This is all. I wonder if
my GPU is gonna die. It's just gonna die. Yeah. That's how this is gonna happen. It's just gonna die. Okay.
Just grab a crowbar and run up to the nearest crate, and then your computer just like melts.
Okay, here we go.
Get ready to be blown away.
I bet this is like only gonna have like an hour time limit.
It's the demo. George Romero is about to make you his dog.
It's a day I'll never forget. The cop inside me died that day. That night, Raccoon City was
Raccoon City.
Thanks to the bioweapons created by Umbrella.
Great place to raise a family.
Somehow I made
Till
it out.
they
So
came.
many others.
I'll never forget it. That grisly incident occurred in the Ugly Mountains.
Later to join
They
a top
messed with the
secret
wrong
government program.
guy.
Not that I had a choice. The training.
Son, I need you to do a mission for me.
Missions nearly killed me,
Yes, sir.
but at least I kept my mind off everything.
Eh,
If I could just forget what
Hey.
happened that night. The pain,
You jerk.
even for a second. This time, it can be.
I need a
different.
shave. I need one better.
It has to.
Oh wow, they really did it. They explained his training a little bit more, which is nice. Look at that.
1,000-yard stare.
Uh-huh.
Out of
6
memory.
years.
Oh.
Even Leon's past trauma could not prepare him for the nightmare, the insanity he would find there. Chapter 1.
One. Well.
What? Look at that.
Oh man, it's like
Is it
like
lagging on?
every modern game. Well, it's just stutters a little bit when you spun around there.
That's probably Streamlabs. Streamlabs has been doing that lately. I like move the screen up. Hold on. I will attempt to fix. I'll make my screen really tiny on Streamlabs. That might help. Nope.
Raccoon City, city of dreams, coming back to you.
I can't. Can I not equip my gun yet? I guess I can't.
Little candles. Run.
Yes. It's telling
What
me
are
to
you
run.
running for?
I don't know. It's probably just giving me a tutorial, maybe.
Yeah. Some monster just comes in and rips your head off. Thank you for playing the demo. I mean, nice graphics.
Well, I mean, technically they have 4K texture, so this is. I played this on the same
looks great.
stuff as before. Ooh, gross.
Yeah. Like something out of The Thing.
The
John
Thing.
Carpenter. The Thing.
It's E to crouch? What? Bro.
Whatever happened to C to crouch? Get it right.
Oh, what? Yeah, no, we're gonna have to fix that, or I'm gonna have to play with the controller. That's
Remember, there's
kinda
certain games where it's like
kind of wacky.
your controls, but the tutorial doesn't know that, so it still tells you the old controls. It's like, this is not helping.
Well, this is like the beginning house. What? They're gonna hit me with a chainsaw right at the. Oh no.
Cabin in the woods.
If I remember
Fine.
right, this is the beginning house.
Anyone
but-
home?
We just cut up our girlfriend with a chainsaw. Does that sound fine?
Wow, they did add a lot more detail, huh? Eh?
It's Bruce Campbell. Oh, it's the Blair Witch thing.
Judgment is nigh.
Ominous.
Oh, I need to up my sensitivity. It's a little lacking. Hold on. I'll plug in a controller.
Everybody stare at the insensitive man.
Sensitive man.
The insensitive man.
Okay. Let's try this. Still a sensitivity feels off. This
Just want
feels
something
like
Scary to jump out at you.
it is scary house. This is a lot freakier than the beginning of the last game.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the old games not being scary. They were just in the sense of like, oh, I'm just gonna like lose because this is really hard.
Well, it didn't need to do all this to
Ah!
freak
Sorry to barge in like this.
Just sneaking up on you. So you taste good, do you? Oh, sorry. Haven't seen people in a while. Just kind of hungry. Kind of looked like a fashion model that just like wandered in. Everything's all gritty. Told you. Just want to have you for dinner.
With that lovely roundhouse kick. Mm.
Yep. Well, hope you enjoyed your last meal.
What a lovely encounter. We just got started. Hey, where's your laser pointer, Leon? What happened to that? Look, just because it's modern day doesn't mean you don't need a laser pointer.
Yeah.
Aw. Okay. Got 10 shots. Morirá de Caron. Sorry to have bothered you. Oh, that's interesting. That's kind of like the traditional game. There was a version of Resident Evil 4 that was like similar to the old style Resident Evils, where it was like over the head. And you were in a castle, and Leon would hold his flashlight, kind of like that. Kind of pull. Yeah.
Reverse grip on the flashlight. Ooh, there's dinner.
Oh no.
Kind of looks like a. Never mind.
Like the Blair Witch Project?
Well, yeah, that too. I've seen someone's basement that kind of has a little corner like that.
Oh.
Hey.
I would want to be down there. Oh man.
I read you. What's your situation? The hell's going on?
More cops and more paramedics.
Escape from the Hunter's Lodge.
Escape, huh? So, some kind of cannibal preppers living here.
Oh no, but somebody just opened the door.
See bones everywhere.
No fucking way.
You're like hunting down the people from the last game, from the forest game. Oh, he's back. He's a zombie.
Oh boy. I don't know. We're getting
His
the
head's
fuck
on
out. Uh-oh.
How'd he catch? Oh, it's a different guy. Ding, 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 ding. Stairs.
Oh, buddy. I didn't get any ammo either. That guy took like 7 shots to take down, and he still was like not getting down.
This is
Freaking me out.
Hunnigan here. What's your sit rep?
Yeah.
President's daughter, Baby Eagle.
It's definitely not House of the Dead.
Likely she's in this village.
Baby Eagle.
Our intel was correct then. Well done.
Need a location on a nearby lake. She may have been taken there.
Copy that.
President's
what I can
Daughter.
find.
What is this? Die Hard Arcade? I like
Something's
that.
I mean, that was it was the objective in the original one.
Ah, oh, okay. Oh, so this is like a remake, reimagining. just?
Yeah, it's a remake.
Okay.
I'll let myself out.
Now, is it supposed to be jumping like that? Is that a stylistic thing, or is that just the memory trying to catch up?
Did it stutter?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever there's a body flying across the screen, it's like a really weird stylistic, like stuttery way of doing it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I could be just the because it doesn't start on my end. It could really just be Streamlabs.
Streamlabs.
I gotta figure out how to get that thing to stop doing that.
Stop it. Yeah, so I guess like a lot of games, it's linear, but it gives you the illusion that you're in like this huge animated world.
Yeah, I suppose.
But maybe the full game would not necessarily be like that. Maybe you could roam around and do more things.
I mean, the original game was pretty linear, and most of these Resident Evil games are kind of linear. It doesn't really bother me as much.
At the time, though, it was pretty innovative because it was like more like you were interacting in a movie than just like a traditional action game like of the time.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna let me save. Of course it's not.
Camera work, typewriter, gunpowder.
Yeah, they really didn't bring back any like. I mean, they brought back traditional like spots, but like this whole route is different, which is good. It brings like a newer experience. You're just like, okay, yeah, man, I believe you.
Sure.
Whatever you say.
You should look up involved. I'll believe whatever you say.
Well, hey, you should look up the original one. Like,
yeah,
you know, I feel like this is a little bit better than like I said, just showcasing the trailer because it's.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was a demo for it.
I think the first one that I ever saw was Resident Evil 2, and maybe a little bit of 3, and then Code Veronica, or Veronica X.
You never saw the original 4?
I don't think so. No.
Oh man. Wait, the dog's dead. Oh no.
The thing. Put it in with the other dogs. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Handgun ammo, 8 shots. It's his head on the tree.
Wow.
Realism.
Just dead.
Pesetas.
Yeah, they're gonna bring back them merchant too, aren't they? Oh, his neck's all weird. Why do they keep doing that? It's super awkward.
They're just mangled.
It does make doing the combos a little bit easier. In the original one, you had to like equip the knife with another button, so doing like the kneecapping them is a lot easier. Like saves ammo when you knife them, so you're not just constantly shooting them down. Oh god, I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the stream. Oh good.
Damn it.
Bear trap. A man trap.
Yeah. I didn't take any damage though. That's weird. Is there a lady behind that thing like before? Huh?
Gnaw off your own leg to get out of the trap.
But there's a dude there.
Blair Witch.
The dude right there. Yeah.
Why you put your weapon? I mean, you're no harm.
Come on, brother. Oh, he already died. Okay, good.
These are zombies, or are they just weird people?
If I told you, it would spoil the game. If you don't know, you should probably watch my stream or
I don't know.
look it up. You gotta look it up. You, I would say look up the original, or I could probably put it on as a preview next time.
Oh, I don't
because
know. Resident... One of
it's
the games all time.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a really good one. But I mean, I liked it. This is my favorite one, and I know it's like everybody's favorite one. But this was like, oh, what the hell? Okay. This was like the game when I was growing up.
Well,
or high school.
There were other survival horror games before Resident Evil, weren't there? Like
I remember if Dino Crisis was. Oh, like way back.
Yeah. But like a lot of people,
so, yeah.
like when they say survival horror, this is what they think of. So in that sense, it was very like influential. Like everybody wanted to do games like this.
Yes. Oh yeah, they brought the village back. This looks really similar. So, kind of the same. There's some changes, but most of it's pretty much the same. I might do a side-by-side comparison. Intriguing.
Just cut some wood. Collect you some herbs.
Yeah, you're gonna watch me freak the fuck out. I do not like the chainsaw dude, and I'm not ready for that.
Chainsaw dude.
Yep.
Old Leatherface.
Kind of, yeah. Oh, you could stealth kill? Yes! Dude. I didn't know you could stealth kill in this game. Couldn't do it in the other games.
Nothing but a tapper.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to just walk out there. Just go around.
Burning people at the stake.
Dude, can you just skip the whole village entirely? Da pica niño. Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Not
Oh
going
shit.
long.
Oh shit. Time to go. Oh, go fuck yourself. Go. Get off. Get off.
Oh, yeah, he's a ghoul. Look at him. Oh, you got him. Nope. Stabbing him in the jugular just slowed him down a little bit.
Oh, won't let me climb. Won't let me climb.
Now you're fighting a village. Village of the damned.
Okay. Oh, hello.
Chuck him in the fire.
Oh! Oh, my knife's about to run out.
Quick time events. Oh, your weapons break.
Yeah, and the newer ones they do.
I guess there were some games like that back in the day.
I can't remember. Where's my inventory?
You have to get the registered version to use the inventory. Oh no. How about a little fire scarecrow?
There we go. Easy.
Easy money.
Time to go. We'll just trigger it now. Yeah, we'll trigger it now. That's a pretty seamless cutscene too. It's nice. I like it. Well, that's a little stuttery. That went.
There he is.
Yep.
Oh, you could be kidding me.
Shit. Chainsaw.
Oh, nice.
Gotta get it. Yeah, it's like Night of the Living Dead. Hand grenade, hey. Now we're getting somewhere. Boom. Parkour.
Oh god! Dude just blew apart.
Yep. Got that dismemberment damage.
Oh boy. Oh, run away!
Oh, he hit the other guy with it. Attention to detail.
Woo! Get off me! Get off me!
Dodge out of the way.
Oh!
Oh, he's not even slowing down.
Oh fuck! Crap! You gotta be kidding me!
Oh, a bear trap.
Oh god! I'm not ready. My body isn't ready for this shit. This is not good.
One down.
Oh, fuck, that hurt. That hurt real bad.
Uh-oh. You're blacking out. Heal yourself on the run. Safety.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
bro.
make things a lot tighter for him in this game. Ooh.
Survive.
I gotta reload, gotta reload, gotta reload. Watch out!
Dodger. It's kind of cool.
Woo.
You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, throwing hatchets. Gotta be kidding.
I can't fucking move, dude. There's no like room to breathe. This is a lot trickier than in the original. It's a lot trickier. And I like
You don't have enough ammo to kill them all, do you?
no, but like there's tricks to it. Like
Be a lot of things to pick up, but a lot of like.
I gotta get reacquainted. Oh fuck! Whoa shit! I backed myself into a corner. Get out of the way!
Break free. Oh, that was cool. Judo throw. Quick time events.
Oh, I tried to hit him first, and it didn't work. I'm gonna die.
I suppose that was in the original too.
The bell. Oh, there's no cutscene. They're just doing the thing. Oh, there. Okay, there it is.
Chuck an egg at him.
You can actually do that.
Sweet.
Say it. Say the line. I know it sounds cheesy and nostalgic, but say the line.
I don't know what the line is.
Come on, say it.
Where's everyone going?
Go.
Bingo?
Go.
Oh, it's loading. Oh, back. Yeah, the stream's all like Resident Evil 4.
18
Resident Evil
minutes.
for you.
So I didn't take up too much time. There we go.
You acquired some money.
So it's 24th. 24th. Not bad.
Thank you for playing. See you next game.
Let me go ahead and reset this. Oh look, I'm double me. Oh. So yeah.
Yep. I'll single you.
You'll single me.
Nope.
But
Rantcast.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
I played pretty
Well,
well.
I think that last half hour, my energy just was
Dude,
gone.
you died. I heard as soon as I heard you go, yeah, yeah, yeah.
What? I'm hearing everything you're saying. Just resting my eyes.
These are the greatest cookies. Yeah.
ASMR cast of rants.
Well, here we go.
All
I'll
right.
go ahead and exit out of here. I
Wow.
want to thank you for having
That
me
was great.
today, and maybe next Rantcast we can do this again.
Yeah.
But
Dig into some HeroQuest.
yeah, man, it's fun. I kind of had these topics up on the fly, so
Yeah, that was great.
But
I mean, I could talk about HeroQuest till I lose my voice, but I know there's other topics we got to rant about, so these were good.
Indeed. Well, for everyone who is or was watching or catching this on the replay, thank you. Thank you for watching. Once again, you can catch me here. That is twitch.tv/thestrangebus or Kurgan at, of course, twitch.tv/HeroQuestFans. And that is our broadcast for the night.
Yep. Another one in the can. Another one for the fire. Another one for the pile. Rantcast.
You'll catch us. If not me, you'll catch Kurgan. Be not next Thursday, but Thursday after, right? You're still doing it every other Thursday. So, the 23rd. So, boom. I should be streaming tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll be tomorrow between the hours of 9 and 11 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time, as well as Saturday. Might be a little later than that because I do have some appointments to keep. Me and my wife, and then I've got a friend on Saturday who's visiting. So
sweet. So you probably won't be on our HeroQuest stream.
No, it's an important kind of a close friend I haven't seen in a long time. He's kind of helped me with some resume stuff. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a good thing.
But.
All right.
I may pop in depending on that.
Yeah.
I might come in and at least say hi, participate a little bit. But
sure, that's always cool.
I promise I will start getting back into the simulcast. But Saturdays, just every day is hard getting in really early.
Yeah, you got a lot on your plate, so whatever you can do is always cool.
All right, man. Well, anyway, I'll catch everybody next time, and yeah, thanks for watching.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks.